Okay, in this part of my practice, I've just done a little bit of warm-ups, but it's still in the beginning part of my practice. This is the most significant, what would you even call it? I'll have to come up with a new word for it because I don't know if one exists, but this a representation of how your yoga practice can influence your understanding and overcoming of anger. And it's the seated twist where, you're in your comfortable seated position generally, and then you take your right hand on the outside of your left knee, and the goal, as you've been taught, is to be upright, twist from the torso first, and then bring your head around. So most students, most yoga practitioners, in fact, will bring their head around, sometimes bring the head around first before they've twisted out of the torso. That's what you're commonly taught, and it's a good teaching. You want to do things in a proper progression. What I'm doing here, and the connection to be made, is when you go into the spinal twist, instead of bringing your head all the way around, only bring it parallel to your mat. So there won't be any tension, will be virtually no tension in your neck. So you just bring it here, but the tension is everywhere else that it is quote unquote supposed to be, properly applied through here. As you're twisting, you'll feel it here. You'll feel some in your tricep because you're pushing in. But instead of having the tension all the way coming up through here, which I analogize to what happens when you're getting angry in a situation and you're going to launch. That adrenaline, the whole tension in your body out through the extremities, you could just feel it firing up from here. Then it comes out here. Now you're launching. And that anger, I'm first going after not the idea of never getting angry, because that's not going to happen. We live in this world. We know there are too many things that people do, and anger does serve a purpose. Sometimes you need to let somebody know their behavior is completely unacceptable, and that will come from a place of anger. But it's the uncontrolled launching anger where you're mad at one child, and the child you're not mad at walks in the house, but you're angry in this direction too. And will you just leave me alone, or whatever we say. So this has to do with controlling the effects of the anger. So when you're on your mat and you set your intention to not be, I want to be a less angry person. I want to be more in control of myself. However you, depict your intention, then instead of feeding the anger, the adrenaline, your body's saying, feed me that anger, feed me these negative thoughts, give me more that I can go with. I'm analogizing that to the full tension going through that spinal twist. So, in a practice that you've dedicated to not being angry, just bring your head parallel to the mat, and then even just experience the freedom that goes along with having tension here and in other parts, but not here. Because the Vishuddha chakra in yogic thought, theory, ideology, is responsible for communication. Physically speaking, your throat is where the stuff happens that gets said, right? So this is where it all boils up from. So just experience the freedom. It's really a risk you're taking not getting angry. Because if you're accustomed to a given behavior, it's in you. And there's always a risk of the unknown. Who am I going to be? What will I be like if I don't maintain that way of being when things aren't right, in my eyes? So launching is, in some ways, people's default setting. And now I'm thinking of changing that. I don't want that. But we don't know what I'll look like. So it's a risk to not pop off. Just like in a yoga class, it's a risk. Everybody else is doing the spinal twist all the way around like this, and you're going like this. But That's what yoga is. It's a space for you. Your mat is your holy space, so to speak, your sacred personal space where you get to dictate, you get to determine, you set your intention, and then you modify accordingly. Now, obviously, you don't want to be a distraction in class, but you don't have to do things in one set prescribed way. There's no such thing. So you're allowed to be on your mat, keeping your eyes closed, and experience the freedom that you may never have experienced before, just by going slowly with your head. And if you want, you can go fully around, but I want you to experience more than once the joy, the liberty, the freedom that comes from not having tension all the way through here. And then when you go to the other side, it's the same thing. You do everything normally. You kickstand your right hand by your spine, your left hand's on the outside of your right knee, you're upright, your tension in your torso, you're twisting through here. But guess what? I'm not going to experience tension here. Right? And so you just bring your head parallel to your mat, or instead of bringing your head over your right shoulder, you bring it over this way, and as soon as you start feeling a little bit of tension, breathe and go back, or just experience the peacefulness of not having the tension from here up. So there's that part that I wanted to present to you, because that is a very powerful analogy or representation of what happens when you're off the mat and you're getting angry. So namaste. See you on another video as thoughts pop into my mind during my practice.